Okay.
Might have to go to Comico, ride the cool bus.
We have started.
I am.
Okay. Welcome, class. So today we are in our Principles of Ag, and we're going to discuss SAEs. So by kind of doing a warm-up or like getting y'all involved, I want to ask the question, does anyone know what SAE stands for?
S.A.
SAE.
San Antonio Extravaganza.
Oh, stupid.
No. All right, so SAE stands for Supervised Agriculture Experience. So on your paper, I want you to answer this question and we're gonna come back to it, okay? So write down the answer to this. What is something agriculture is lacking or needs improvement in? Just write it down on your paper and then we're gonna share later on. Okay, everyone got something? Yes? All right. So we're gonna do a quick recap. We're gonna talk about the three-circle model. So we have discussed it in previous classes, so the three-circle model, you have instructional, which is classroom or lab, that's up here. You have FFA and you have SAE. What do you think goes in the middle?
People.
Okay, anything else?
Community.
Okay, so those are great observations to that. So basically, the three things are joining together to create a well-rounded program or well-rounded students. So that being said, let's go into what is an SAE. Let's try and list a few thoughts before we get into the actual definition of a supervised agriculture experience. So, anyone have any ideas?
On what an SAE
Of
is?
what a supervised agriculture experience is?
A work-based learning experience.
Okay, so that's going off of the specific definition. So we're going to touch base on that. So an SAE could basically be a project, an activity, community service, involvement, or in y'all's case, it's a responsibility. So let's write that up here. A few examples. So responsibility. Community service.
Knowledge.
And one more.
Giving.
Giving. Okay.
Giving back.
Okay, giving back. Good one. Okay. All right. So with those examples, that's now going to lead us into the definition. Does anyone want to read this definition for me? Okay.
Supervised agriculture experience is a student-led, instructor-supervised, work-based learning experience that results in measurable outcomes within a predefined, agreed-upon set of agriculture, food and natural resources, AFNR, technical standards, and career-ready practices aligned to your career plan of study.
Okay. That's a lot to take in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break it down into the 5 W's. Do you have a question?
Just a long run-on sentence, I think. Push that. But yeah, you
Are you the teacher?
I know, I'm just
Then
saying.
be quiet. We over here learning, we ain't over here teaching.
Okay.
That's not grammar.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna remember that from
Okay.
the test. Is that gonna be on the final
That's
test?
why we're taking notes.
Okay,
Jesus Christ.
quiet,
Man.
quiet.
He's stupid.
Inside,
Exactly.
inside voices. We're not gonna make any rude comments. We're gonna be nice to each other. Okay, so it's a very long sentence. It's a lot to take in. We're gonna break down to the 5 W's. Who? So who are we talking about when talking about an SAE?
Students, because it's
Students.
student-led.
Okay, who else?
Teachers or supervisors.
So students and the teachers. And Erica, you said supervisor. So I'm gonna go a little bit more into depth than that. Me as the teacher, I'm the supervisor. I am supervising your project. You are doing everything, all the hands-on work, all of the research, all of finding the information. I am just there to guide you. Makes sense? Okay. So, that being said, we did who. So, what are we talking about? What is this?
Our projects.
Okay.
The experience.
The experience, the
Work,
learning
yeah, the work
experience, yes. It is your project or activity. But it's also the student work-based learning experience. Okay. All right, so this is something that you will do and then you'll gain knowledge from it at the end, which is the student learning experience. That's what that is. All right, so now let's go into where? Where will all of this take place?
Well, all that stuff y'all have us do at the ag barn, I'd probably say the ag barn.
Okay, that could be a place.
And in and around the school community.
Okay, community, that's the key one.
Home.
Home, yeah. So, all of this is being basically taken place outside of school. So your home, the ag barn, and then the community. Okay, so here's kind of a trick question. When you're thinking about where this is going to be done, when is it going to be done?
Like during the school year or outside of class?
So, because it's outside of class, but I am your supervisor, it would be during the school year. It could also be during the summer if, we'll get more into that when we have our examples, but if, let's say if you have a livestock project, you get pigs sometimes in August. Well, if you get them at the beginning of August, school hasn't started yet. So you'll already be out at the barn and you'll go until May when majors are over. So it would be between then. That would be your time frame for that. Or sometimes if you were doing a research project, you map out 3 months to do your plant research project. So does that make sense on when it would go on? Yes? Okay. All right. Our last W, why? Oh, I forgot to write when we were doing it, but that's okay. So why are we doing this?
Responsibility.
Can we have any more?
Learning,
Learning. Anything else? Anything else? Oh,
Community goal.
okay. Community.
why should get right in our hand?
All right.
Good teacher, okay.
So I'm also gonna put into this as to why we're doing it. So gaining responsibility we talked about, gaining knowledge, which is learning, and then there's also economical factors into this, and just being helpful, which would be into community help. So next, I want to talk about the 5 types of SAEs. So anyone have an idea of what 5 types there might be?
Crops,
Okay,
livestock.
okay,
School-based.
okay, there you go.
That was
That's
pretty-
one of them. So, when you say crops or livestock, what do you think that could follow under?
What?
Into another category. So, for instance, that would follow under ownership or entrepreneurship. because you would be owning your animal and you would take responsibility for raising that animal, and then later on that animal would go to sale, you'd gain money back, that animal would then be put on a trailer for someone else, consumer demand. Make sense?
And once it dies,
Well, then that's unfortunate during that time, and then during that time you would learn that animals are going to die and sometimes you're gonna lose money. How would you gain it back is what you're gonna have to think of.
plus I gotta get a different job.
Okay, so
And we're not rich.
With
we
that-
ain't no noodles.
with that being said, we are going to write, or I'm going to write the 5 up here. And let's do, so there's placement and internship. And then there's ownership and entrepreneurship, which would be like having livestock animals. Sorry, it's down here at the bottom, so. And then there's research. And then school-based. Can anyone give me an example of a research project?
Doing a study on what plants grow
Plant.
and what best.
Plant history,
Okay, perfect. Okay. Can anyone give me an example on school-based?
Greenhouse.
A greenhouse for the school.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
a new lunch program.
We are talking about
That is
That's food.
Jesus, we got a fat guy in our class.
okay. Hey, attention. Okay, so then what about a service learning project?
Service learning.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Think of community service.
Oh, picking up the trash.
Yeah. Something as simple as picking up the trash or cleaning the flower beds.
Beautification.
Yeah, at the park. So something like that. Okay,
Cool question.
yes.
Would like baking goods and stuff like that taken to the fire department, police department, would that be part of the whole learning or no?
Does not have
Um, you could do that into entrepreneurship if you were selling it.
Gotcha.
Community wise, if you did a bake sale and then you went around and gave to the homeless, that would be something that would be community based. Or even
Why
if,
not giving it to the
well,
fire department?
I was gonna get into that, even if you do give back to like firefighters or EMS, or you go to hospitals, that all still plays a factor into community service.
Gotcha.
So yeah, because at that point, you're not making money off of it. Make sense?
Gotcha.
Okay, so those are our 5 types. So now I want you to independently create an idea of an SAE. So from what you have learned, I want you to tell us why you choose this project and how can it help agriculture. So think back to the question that I asked you at the beginning about what is agriculture lacking or what does it need more of? Okay, now we're gonna go around and I want to hear everyone's thoughts. So we'll start with Lisa.
Miss Coco and I are gonna do honeybees,
Okay,
because, raising honeybees and getting their honey can, honeybees are good for the environment. And, we can make honey and sell it, and the profits can help farmers or help our company, and then, or give back to the FFA program, or, you know, it's going back into the economy.
okay. Chip.
I like to eat, so I say let's build a barbecue pit.
Okay,
And then people could, you know, draw their design, and then they need to put down the math, you know, like how long the pieces are and all the materials that they need. So they would write that up, and then you could look at it and make sure that we did our math right, and we wrote out good sentences on what we said this is going to be. then we turn around and, you know, we could build one for the ag barn, cause the ag barn doesn't have one. And then let that be, you know, the example for others to look at and then try to sell it. And see if we can't make some money and then put back into our, student account and over the ag build.
Okay, alright, Jonathan?
I just wrote clean the ag barn.
Okay.
Because if it ain't clean, animals are gonna get sick with this coronavirus running around, and then we ain't gonna make no goddamn money from this virus. So we is going to clean this ag barn, 'cause I'm sick and tired of all these people running around here. I
Okay,
want clean, healthy animals in my barn.
alright, I like the idea, let's
Yeah.
refrain from the language.
Well, I am dedicated and passionate about this.
I understand.
Alright.
Okay, Miss Erica.
Finding a system to save best, to invest in the fundraisers that make the most for the school and community, using charts and getting knowledge for future business starters.
Perfect. Alright, so that being said, with those that y'all came up with, I'm gonna show y'all some other examples. So, working with animals, so anything from pet care to raising animals or working with local livestock can qualify as an SAE.
That was me.
Most yard work, so especially when you're talking about like parks and cleaning up the parks or planting new plants, stuff like that, or even at the school, we wanted to fix the flower beds in the front of the school. Stuff with food, so like growing vegetables in the greenhouse at the school or growing vegetables at your home and then selling them. And then just getting involved with the community would basically mean community service or just getting involved with other students. You can do that as well. So that being said, next class we will create an outline for what your project is going to be. Any other questions? No? Okay, so at that point, class is dismissed.
Next time.
Okay, so that being said, I forgot I wanted to do this. So now, as y'all listening, I want y'all to give feedback. I forgot I was supposed to do that as well. Feedback
Feedback to who?
to me as how this went.
The session's over, now
Yeah.
we give you feedback.
Yeah.
No, Sammy, actually, I think you did a really good job. I mean, we try to do a little role playing with you, just, you know, for fun. But no, I mean, your slide, you got your slides, you know, that helps, and then you use the teaching aids that you had to your, availability, such as a slide deck for students to look at, and then also the board. Very important though that, you know, you make sure like you taught yourself where you went back and filled in, but yeah, I think it's great utilization of that. Just, yeah, when you have like what Jonathan and I kind of did to you, you were spot on. You cannot, to me, you can't ignore students misbehaving, and you gotta redirect them and get their attention, get them focused back. So I thought you did good.
Okay, anything else?
I think it was great, and I thought your idea of having us get up, that way we're still moving, not just sitting in our seats the way you want it to be, but your brother was lazy. I think that would have been a great idea, because getting up, that's one thing that I got tired in high school, is sitting down constantly. The getting up helps keep us awake.
Okay, so more movement within the classroom. Okay,
You sew, and what was the other phrase?
my so and do you understand that? Okay.
No, it wasn't that. It was so, and that being said,
Oh,
a
okay.
lot.
Okay.
Other than that, it was great.
Okay. Jonathan?
Yeah, very good. Put that on class.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
And if you could only not have students like Jonathan on board.